Meet Evans Wadongo, a social entrepreneur with a vision to transform Africa and empower his community. In 2006, he started an organization called Sustainable Development for All.
I developed a solar-powered lamp, which I call Mwangabora, which is a Swahili word which means better light or good light. Back then in 2004, when I was in college. In 2006, I formed the organization Sustainable Development for All, so that I can be able to reach out to more people and do the whole project in a more structured way. And now it's been a couple of years now.
What inspired him to start this kind of a business?
I was inspired by seeing how I grew up in a rural home in Kenya, in western part of Kenya, where I was using kerosene lamps to study, and so it was a big problem. And some of my neighbors, the other kids, in their homes, they couldn't even afford the kerosene, so I wanted to do something to be able to change that. I did the design putting in mind that it has to be very, very simple so that it can be adapted easily into the societies, and to use as much recycled materials as possible. This is where we do some of our administrative work, and we also have converted our kitchen into a small place where we do part of the assembly for the solar lamps before we get them into the communities.
Through innovation, Evans has been able to maintain low production costs, thus making his product affordable.
Most of the materials are recycled, like we use scrap metals which are just available in so many places. Just collect them. We have even other designs which are using like plastic jars, like the peanut butter jars that are just thrown away. We use them sometimes to make solar lamps. When I started off, the lamp was much bigger. This is actually the size it was. When I started off, it was more bulky and heavy. But now I've reduced to this size now. It's much smaller. If you compare now, it's much small. This one is much smaller. We use less material, so it's much more cheaper to produce than this one. We're using more heavy metal, and it was much bigger. So, but we've kept on now improving and changing as you go along.
We can make like 100 lamps in a week. Also, it depends on the number of volunteers we have.
What makes his enterprise so unique?
We actually make the design based on the needs of the community. So we ask them what they want and they tell us, and we are able to adjust or make a design based on that.
What strategies does he use to ensure growth in his business?
The main strategy to grow is to be able to be more innovative. Like now, where we've incorporated helping the community groups to set up small businesses. And right now we are moving even forward where they're able now to access microfinancing using the small businesses as collateral, which is something that most of the people in the deep rural areas cannot access.
With a capital of $50, his business now has a turnover of slightly above $200,000. So how does he market his business?
We've grown by word of mouth mostly, and we believe that way we have that personal connection with people as opposed to just using advertisements.
What makes Evans successful as a social entrepreneur?
I've been successful majorly because I've remained focused on my initial goal, where I wanted to help out the poor communities, to be able to provide them with an alternative source of energy and also economically empower them.
How does he view competition?
I don't see anyone as competition. I only see people who are trying to also get their market share and to try to get the product to people.
He has this to say about CSR.
I think it's important for all, whether they're corporate companies, to be able to give back to the communities, because you have to create that sense of ownership with the communities so that they can feel they're part of your enterprise.
Meeting the needs of the society should be the goal of every entrepreneur. persistence and focus will aid in making this goal a reality.